So the last thing I want to just get clear in terms of definitions is this concept of relational integrity. So are we talking about authenticity, transparency, vulnerability, or honesty? And what are the difference in these terms?
Great terms. When we think about authenticity, it's being true to yourself. Your authenticity is an alignment between yourself, those values, those beliefs, your feelings, and your outward behavior. And so it's about showing people your real self without pretending to be someone you're not. So from jump, you're being your most authentic self, your most real self. Um, Speaking and acting, so you can think about key elements, speaking and acting in ways that reflect your true thoughts and feelings, not trying to pretend to be somebody else so that you can get approval.
Mhm.
Authenticity asks, am I being real right now? For honesty, oh no, you said, um, what was the one you said? It wasn't that on. No, transparency.
Yep.
Transparency is letting others see the process. I love transparency, and we're going to talk about the difference between transparency and honesty. So, transparency involves openly sharing relevant information, intentions, or reasoning. It's not just about being truthful, which is honesty, but it's also being clear and forthcoming, especially about your decisions and actions that may affect somebody else. Key parts of this is being open about your motives or changes. You're allowed to be intentional, right, with somebody and say, this is where I see it going. However, when it's not going there, you can change your mind, but you have to be open with that person. You don't start doing behaviors that have them questioning what's going on here. And then transparency asks, am I clearly communicating what someone needs to know? When it comes to honesty and this idea of telling the truth, right? This is what we've always been told. It's the idea of not being deceptive, not what's the word people are like, it's not lying, right? If I just don't say anything, but
Omitting.
lying by
Omitting.
omission, yes.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
you want to leave that out. Honesty is one of those foundational areas for trust. You want to know when you ask somebody something that they're going to be truthful in their communication, that they're not going to lie to you, they're not going to give you half truths, or they're not going to manipulate you. Honesty asks, am I being truthful in what I say and do? Those are so important. The last one, vulnerability. This one, even as a therapist, is really hard for me, especially as a Black woman in America. But vulnerability is allowing ourselves to be seen. Vulnerability is the willingness to share your feelings, needs, fears, or uncertainties, even when you're at risk of being judged, misunderstood, or hurt. It's not a weakness, it's an emotional courage. A lot of times people may think, I can't be vulnerable because that's going to show that I'm weak. Um, it's openness to emotional risk, sharing truths that make you feel exposed, but with that, it creates deeper connections through this ability to be authentic with somebody. And then lastly, vulnerability asks, am I willing to be seen even when it feels uncomfortable?
Okay, let me play this back just to make sure that I learned the lesson that I came here to learn today. So, what I think I heard you say is honesty. When I think about like everything you needed to know, you really learned in kindergarten. Honesty is this base level of, I'm doing what I said I would do, or you asked me a question and I answered it truthfully. Like that's that base level, which is honesty.
Mhm.
Um, Transparency is making sure that I'm also telling you what you didn't actually ask. So the people who like to omit or lie through admission or think they can walk the line, they're not being transparent because transparency is going a step to even answer the question that you didn't ask, but I know is on your mind based on the conversation that we're having. Authenticity is get out the chat GPT and stop letting it answer the questions for you. It's
Mhm.
how do I show up as
Mhm.
myself?
Mhm.
Because that's going to make sure that our human to human connection is authentic, even
Mhm.
if it means we don't agree about everything. Or,
Mhm.
I show up as the tech nerd and you show up as the really artistic person. We're still being authentic in our connection and our connecting in ways that make sense for us. While vulnerability is me kind of wearing my heart on my sleeve a bit and not just telling you what I think feels safe, but going above and beyond to make sure that you can connect with me in ways that are a little deeper than surface, because I'm sharing more of myself for a deeper connection. Did I get at least a B plus?